Yo, what's up, guys? Bradley here, coming at you all with kind of a league update of all things around the league. And really how often we do something like this will depend on how much you guys engage with it, you respond to it. I see you guys are responding to it, engaging with it. I see you guys are watching it, then we'll do it often. And if not, then we'll do it periodically when things are fitting. Ultimately, I want to push out as much content as humanly possible. However, I don't want to overload it. Your engagement really is the only reason we do something like this. So if nobody's engaging with it, then we won't do it. However, we have a small list of topics to look at today. We are still early on in the league. We are currently kind of gearing up to close out week number 4. A lot of games are in. We still have a handful of games that are not in yet. There are still a handful of games being scheduled and sometimes still need to be fleshed out. And we got some big games too on the schedule potentially that have not been scheduled yet. So if you haven't scheduled your games, get them scheduled, set a hard time, and post the time in the scheduling channel. Let's get them in. As for our list of topics today, the first thing I want to look at, it's the story of the unbeatens. Currently, at this moment, week number 4, we have only 4 unbeaten teams remaining in the league. Of those 4 unbeaten teams, I think only one of them has got their week number 4 game in. So I mean, potentially the other 3 could still take that L. And when I look at these teams that are still unbeaten, to me, hands down, the guy at the top of the seat, the guy at the top of the pack is the Falcons owner, South. South has had an incredible run with the start of the league. Week number 1, he handed Bayman his only loss. He beat the Seahawks 41-34. Week number 2, he put a stomping down on the Cowboys in one of our primetime featured games. That score was 45-13. Early on, the Cowboys hung in there with him, but South got on top and just beat him down while he was on top. We'll talk more about that here shortly. Week number 3, South crushed the Bears 51-7, and week number 4, he went over on the Packers 43-36. Packers, Dre Smith Gaming, he's not to be taken lightly. He is a guy that has gone 16-0 in the regular season multiple times in other leagues. And my previous experience with him, I've always seen him at the top of the pack. I've always seen him competing at the very top. I feel like he's kind of on the back burner right now, right? I feel like he hasn't had that like statement win yet, but we'll talk more about that here in a bit. But yeah, I look at these 4 unbeaten teams, South and his Falcons, like nobody is He's running away with things right now. And Julio Jones, you can't do anything against Julio Jones. We'll talk more about this here shortly. But the Falcons Cowboys game that we featured, that we had like a league panel commentary stream on, there was legitimately a play. Cowboys had Julio Jones double covered, doubled man. Julio runs the streak. He just pops it right up to him, double coverage. He pulls it down and gets on the board. Like, you can't do anything against Julio Jones. He doesn't deserve, the title wide receiver. That title does not deserve to attach itself to Julio Jones. Julio Jones is just outperforming everybody. Julio Jones is actually the number 2 receiver in terms of yards. In terms of touchdowns, though, he's uncontested. He's up at 13 touchdowns right now on the season, while the second best, there are 2 receivers with 9 touchdowns. The other 3 unbeaten teams, we have the Steelers, and holy crap, like, he's got some cheat codes or something going on with his rookie quarterback. He's taking a lot of time trying to develop his rookie, Cole McDonald. Cole McDonald sitting at 974 yards. He has thrown 0 interceptions on the season. Cole McDonald of the Steelers has thrown 0 interceptions. And completion percentage, he has a completion percentage of 84%. I don't know. I don't know. That is absolutely insane, and he's doing it with a scrub rookie that he's developing. Like, I have always known Canes to kind of compete at the top, right? And in my mindset, I've always kind of viewed him as like a B plus player, right? And like, that's not like taking anything away from B plus. That's a huge grade, and like that's a huge compliment. Like, I wouldn't give a lot of guys that, but I've always seen him as someone kind of like a step back, you know, a guy under the top guys that's like clawing up, right? He's not the guy under the top guys clawing up. Right now, Canes is the top guy, and those guys under the top guys that are trying to like claw up and like make their name, it's him they're clawing up to right now. So as far as I know, I don't think Canes week 4 game is scheduled yet. He's got the Titans. He's got Bus and his Titans, so that would be a good game. If I was able to, I would commentate it, but I mean, it's not even on the schedule yet, and things are busy right now on my end. Try to commentate a few games this morning. One of them we got in, the other one got pushed back, so we didn't get that one in. But the one, like those games that we did today, basically I just had free time and there were games on the schedule, so I was like, hey, let's do this. But if I could, I would totally hop in and commentate that game. I think it's gonna be a really great game. I don't know though. The third unbeaten team we have remaining is Estrada and his Browns. He has the title of unbeaten, but it's a little tainted. His title of unbeaten, it's a little tainted. He has 2 sim wins to his name. 2 sim wins. I mean, like, neither of the sim wins were like his fault. Like, one, the guy just hadn't got the console yet, and number 2, it was supposed to be like the first game we featured in a doubleheader game, and then like minutes before, the other guy shoots me a message and it's like, hey, I'm not going to be able to make the game, I gotta shovel my driveway. That guy's no longer in the league. Every time I think, like, I've heard every excuse on why like a game's being canceled, someone boom raises the bar. I've never heard someone say, I can't play my game because I gotta shovel the snow. But hey man, like, you do your thing. Shooting me this message saying you can't play because you gotta shovel the snow while you've been streaming for the last however many hours, man. All good on you, bro. Go shovel that snow. Family first. So, the fourth unbeaten team. Like, I look at these guys that are unbeaten, right? I feel like this guy. Like, I was talking about like the guy under the top guys, right? I look at this last guy that's unbeaten, the Rams owner, and like, to me, he hasn't made a statement yet. Like, I look at his wins. He still hasn't played his week 4 game yet, so he could still lose. But I look at his wins, and like, none of these wins leap off the page to me. He went over on the Cowboys 34-15. He went over on the Eagles 49-21. He went over on the Bills 35-6. Of those 2 teams, or of those 3 games, like, he had some big wins there, right? But of those 3 games, 2 of them are teams that have no wins yet on the season. The Rams is sitting with no loss on his plate, but there's no statement yet. I want to see a statement from the Rams before I really give him praise. And honestly, there are 2 owners that have 1 loss that I will throw praise their way before I throw praise to the way of the Rams, or even praise to the way of Estrada and his Browns. These are my 2 dark horses, and they are my dark horses because I believe that they are guys that should be at the top of the pack, or guys that I think are at the top of the pack. The first one right off the bat, the number 1 dark horse we have is Bayman. His only loss, Bayman's only loss, came against South and his Falcons. The guy that I put at number 1 right now in the league. His only loss is to South. He lost to South and his Falcons week 1, 34-41, and then week 2 he goes over on the Patriots, 41-16. Week 3 he goes over on the Cowboys, 56-14. And then week number 4 he crushes the Dolphins, 54-21. Right, 54-21. That's insane. At the start of the fourth quarter, like I think Bateman might have like took his foot off the gas and maybe like let this guy like score some points so he could feel good about himself or something, right? But the start of the fourth quarter, the score was 51-7. And you might be like, it's the Dolphins. This Dolphins owner, right? Like yeah, it's the Dolphins. The Dolphins, they suck in Madden. But like the owner with this Dolphins, he has developed a reputation over the years of being able to make magic happen with the Dolphins. It's my first time actually being in a league with this guy, so like I seen his name, I recognize his name, and like I was pumped. I'm like, oh, we gonna get some magic from them Dolphins. And then he gets crushed by Bateman at the start of the fourth quarter. The score is 51-7. I did not like. My expectation was not this. My expectation was that this Dolphins guy was going to be in the conversation among the top guys. But instead, he's in the conversation of being blown out by the top guys. Like, I'm expecting more from this Dolphins owner. Like, I want to see more. Show me more. As for Bateman, man, you just keep doing what you're doing, man. Like, you have that loss against South. But in my book, like, you're up there in the conversation with those 4 unbeatens, and I think you have more of a rightful place among that conversation than some of them that are there. But Russell Wilson for Bateman is just balling out. He's got 19 touchdowns on the year. I think that's the most passing touchdowns of any quarterback. The other guy that I have as my dark horse is the Packers owner. The Packers owner has 1 loss, just like Bateman. And just like Bateman, his only loss is to South and his Falcons. Realize something here. Do you see a trend? Packers has 1 loss and it's to South. Seahawks has 1 loss and it's to South. South is undefeated. He's not out there beating scrubs. Right? He's not out there with like something to prove. He's out there already proving it. Like my intention, my plan to talk about South was completely done. Like I had no intention to be talking about South right here. But like we need to take note of this. He's not out here beating scrubs. He's 4-0, and those 4 wins, they aren't against scrubs. Seahawks, his only loss is South. Packers, his only loss is South. I gave Bateman a lot of love with his 1 loss being South. I'm giving Packers the same amount of love with his 1 loss being against South. I will say this though, I'm disappointed in Packers. The Packers has gone 16-0 in multiple leagues this cycle, not on this generation of console, but in this cycle, from what I understand, he's gone 16-0 multiple times. In my little bit of experience I've had with him in other leagues, like the numbers he puts up are crazy, and his efficiency with his quarterback play, it's crazy. I look at Aaron Rodgers' stats though. He has 1,198 yards. That's good, but he only has 8 touchdowns. Like those are like, that's the amount of touchdowns I put up, and I suck. Come on, Dre, you're better than 8 touchdowns with your quarterback. Show me more. Like, we got this first stretch of the season under our belt. I need you to come out swinging in this next half of the season, right? In this next quarter of the season. He's thrown 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, so he's winning the touchdown to interception ratio, and he's 75% completion on the year so far. So that's good. Pat on the back for that. The next topic I want to talk about, though, it's kind of pivoting a little bit from the dark horse, right? And it's looking at a team that has absolutely no wins. The Dallas Cowboys. You look at his losses and some of like the stats centered around him. Like you'd be like, why are you even talking about him, Brad? He lost to the Rams 15-34. He lost to South and his Falcons 13-45. He lost to Bayman and his Seahawks 14-56. He lost to Estrada and his Browns 17-34. Like, those are big losses. 15-34, 13-45, 14-56, 17-34. All big losses. He got crushed in every single one of them. And then you look at the teams that are left without a win, and we're getting ready to look at them all. You look at the teams left without a win. He has the worst defense among them all. He's allowed 169 points on the year, which is like, makes me scratch my head a little bit, because when we watched him in primetime against South and his Falcons, we were giving him praise for his defense. You look at that game against South, he did a lot of good things on defense, but there were some question marks that we had on defense. I think if he can take those good things he's done on defense and incorporate some other things and mix it up a little bit, I think he could have one of the best defenses in the league. Like, what he was doing when he blitzed was insane, but you can't just blitz every single play. But like, we look at these losses, he's taken 4 huge losses. But did you catch who I said those losses were to? The Rams, undefeated. The Falcons, South, undefeated. Browns, Estrada and his Browns, undefeated. Bayman and his Seahawks, 1 loss against South. There was a crazy stat that someone posted in chat. I think the combined record of all the teams he's lost to so far is like 14-1, with that 1 loss being Falcons and Seahawks battling each other out, and Falcons giving Seahawks his 1 loss. How good is the Cowboys? That's what I want to know. How good is he? I don't feel like we are in position to really grade Limslow and his Cowboys yet. I think the verdict is still out. During the course of the primetime game I asked the question, will he get 8 wins on the season? I think one of the 2 guys in commentary with me said yes. The other guy said he's probably a 7-win team. I don't know what happens when we take him and we put him against other teams that aren't Rams, Falcons, Seahawks, Browns. We'll find out. He's getting ready to go. The stretch that he's getting ready to go into, well, it can't be any worse than what he's had so far. The conversation, though, of the unbeaten or the unvictorious teams. There is currently, let me count this real quick, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that right? 1, double checking this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, we have 7 teams left in the league that don't have a win. I myself am among those teams. No surprise, because I suck. But this is disappointing. This is disappointing. I look at the league and see that there's only 4 teams left that have not taken an L, and I like that. I want to see that. But having a large portion of the league still without a win, like, I don't want to see that. Come on, guys, get out of this list. The guys on this list, you need to get out of this list. First of all, we've already talked about the Cowboys. He's on this list. I don't know. I honestly believe, I still believe, I said during the stream that Cowboys could be an 8-win team. I think he can still get there. I think Limslow can still come out of this and finish his last 12 games left in the season. I think Limslow can pull out 8 wins out of these 12 games. So what is that, like 8-4? I think he can do it. I'm pulling for Limslow to go 8-4 in this last half or in the rest of the season. But we have Limslow, and then there's the Colts, the Bills, the Patriots, the Texans, and the Buccaneers. The team that I think will remain here the longest and possibly go 0-16. The Bills. The Bills has the worst offense in the list. And I think he's only put up like 41 points so far in the season. Do something different, man. Get in the lab, okay? Get in the lab, get some practice in, right? Figure something out, man, because 41 points, It's not cutting it. There are guys that put up almost double that in one game. On the opposite hand, I think a team that could be one of the first ones out of this is the Patriots. The Patriots, out of all of these teams he's got, the best offense, he's put up 93 points. However, I hope he's not the first one off, because I'm desperate myself to get off that list, because I've had some close games and I've had some very frustrating games. My game this week against Julian and his Chargers was super frustrating. I'm used to not being good at Madden, right? So like I can take my L's very easily and like just move on. But this one I like had to walk away after the game because I was really upset. Not at Julian at all, at the game. Julian straight. But like we played and there was a couple, we disconnected a few times. We made it to about halftime, right? And like I felt like I was balling out. I felt like I had a rhythm going. I had the lead most of the half, and then we DC'd, and then we're like, how do we want to go about this? And then we're like, it was close the whole time. Let's just play a full game. And Heath Ano snapped me out of existence. It was bad. As we look to wrap this up, right? As we look to wrap this up, I want to leave you guys with a reminder. And that reminder is we are a sim league, and as a sim league, we have rules. We've been running into a lot of issues so far through these first 4 weeks where a lot of guys are breaking a lot of rules, and I don't think anyone's breaking rules intentionally. I think guys just haven't read the rules. So before you go and play your next game, pause a moment, go look at the rules, refresh yourself on the rules, know the rules, follow the rules. Right? I know it's Madden and all, but like we are a sim league. We are a fair play league, and the sim that we play is defined by the rules. We want everyone to have equal footing. So take time, refresh yourself on the rules, be up to speed on everything, and good luck to everybody. Peace.